Brilliant. Over to you guys. Look, thank you very much indeed. And over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. I'm going to start off today by just giving you a quick overview of Alemba and our product, Alemba Service Manager. And then I'm going to hand over to my colleague, James Spate, who's going to take you through a demonstration of the product. So just in terms of a summary of in one page of what Alemba Service Manager is about, is first of all to deliver cutting edge looks in a product that you would like to use, making sure it runs on all modern browsers, that it works on mobile devices as well as desktop devices. We very much focus on a graphical workflow designer at the heart of the system that allows you to do zero code application building and delivery of business processes. To connect to the outside world, we provide an extensive library of connectors across multiple products in a single unified platform. That means that all the information from one process is available to the other process, to the next process, etc. So you don't have things cut off. We also don't license those areas separately, so that if you use the tool, you can use it across all the processes that you wish to use to support your business. We make sure that we can deliver all of this functionality in the most cost-effective and efficient way with our rapid start database. That's often supported by a very powerful federated CMDB that allows us to connect in using that connector library to a myriad of different sources of information. So some of our customers can have up to 20 sources of information building up that single pane of glass unified view of their CMDB. And then finally, we've built an interface to enable users who might not be experts in IT service management or very interested really in what we do in our part of the world to become participants in the processes with our nano interface, which abstracts the complexity for them and makes it fun for them to join in and participate in processes, hopefully without them even noticing they're doing it. All of that functionality can then be used across a whole myriad of departments in your organization. So we can look obviously after IT, but also supporting finance, procurement, estates and campuses, facilities, accommodation, procurement, whatever you need to support. Our tool provides the right structures and processes to do that. That's facilitated by having a huge range of components out of the box, so that everything you need to do in terms of these use cases is there to support them. So whether it's from service desk to capacity management to the federated CMDB, everything you need is there on a very powerful zero code platform that requires no programming to manipulate. The snap-in connectors, as I said before, fit across a whole wide range of the most common products in the market. And even if you have a product that we don't have on our list that we haven't seen before, our connector framework allows us to build a new connector for you very cost effectively and quickly. Today, we're really going to focus on certain elements because obviously that it's a big product and there's a lot to see. But today we're going to focus on certain elements of the product which enable the use of automation and artificial intelligence to push to you the information you need so that you know what's going on without having to look for it or understand what's going on. So if we look at change management, for instance, one of the things in change management we do is to do clash detection. So if you're logging up a change and it's going to clash with other changes, it will warn you, it will show you. It will also show you clashes within the federated CMDB as well and the service catalog. So if any of those are going to be issues, it will also show that to you. We also can suggest to you when you should perhaps be looking to do a new change. Our artificial intelligence automation can look through the pattern of what's happening in the system to suggest perhaps that a change in the infrastructure is required. We also can look at things with incident matching where we can match up patterns of incidents and patterns of knowledge articles and push those up to you and say, these are likely to be similar, these are likely to help you, and therefore support the service desk through those features. We can also automatically detect major incidents and problems and push those out to the user community to make sure they understand that we know about these things, that we understand them, and we're working on them. So again, that saves a lot of time. These can be very quick wins. And, a very big benefit to using the system is if you publish out a major incident, you deflect all those users who are affected. They can still register their impact on the customer portal, but you're not having to log new calls for them as well. And then finally, we can drive all our dashboards and reporting through the API. So again, we can push out that information to you at the right time, at the right place, with scheduling to ensure that you know what's going on in your system and you have a good overview as the manager of what's happening. We believe this really gives it all of this functionality delivered without the use of code. Really, we believe delivers us a unique position in the market where only coded systems can really do what we do, but then you have to have a team of developers. So we really believe that that's our unique position in the market, that we are a much more cost-effective alternative. This has been recognized in Gartner this year, and Alemba Service Manager for the first time is mentioned in the Gartner Magic Quadrant as an honorable mention, and really that as a testament to the power and the capability of the tool. That's also recognized in Pink Verify, so they're having been deeply analyzed by Pink Elephant as being up there with the top vendors in the market. And one case study I'd like to just mention before I hand over to my colleague James is Mercedes-Benz. So Mercedes-Benz don't use our tool for their main service desk, but they had a new project. And at Daimler, they needed to roll out support for their new Assist service. So Assist is their car concierge service. So if you're lucky enough to drive a Mercedes and you need anything done like theatre tickets or you've broken down or whatever, you press the Assist button and you get through to an assistant. And they went to their existing supplier and said, how quickly can you roll this out? And it was one of those programming systems. And they said, oh, well, it takes about 6 to 9 months per country. And they went, well, that's no use. We've got to roll this out across the world. So they went back to market and chose Alemba for this project because of that zero code approach. And we were able to roll it out across the whole world for them within just over 2 years. And now when you press the Assist button in your car, it's ASM that's behind the scenes supporting those operations. So again, a great case study and a great example of that high-speed automation that Alemba can bring. And with that, I'm going to hand over to my colleague, James Spate, who's going to show you some of those features today.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much, Lawrence, and good afternoon to everyone on today's session. So very much akin to the topic from the SDI demo day itself, what we're going to do in the Alemba Service Manager demonstration is very much focus really on automation through both human interaction within the toolset, as well as through artificial intelligence to essentially proactively identify any pattern recognition and alerts, obviously in order to assist the target audiences through a variety of different automation techniques. And ultimately, towards the end of the session, this will lead to the output in the context of real-time and historical reporting metrics that you can, of course, leverage. So what we're going to do is firstly start within the Alemba Service Manager self-service portal. So it is self-service, so we want to really endorse that shift-left approach to bring solutions closer to your end users to reduce needless traffic coming through to the service desk. So ASM self-service really provides an abundance of self-sufficient mechanisms in order for your end users to leverage. So at the top right of the screen, we have our global search. So you can very much insert any keyword criteria, and then you can satisfy and bring forward any relevant knowledge articles, incidents, requests, service actions, or offerings in order to present further forward to the actual end user. Similarly, if we scroll further down on the actual home dashboard itself, we have RSS similar latest news feeds to promote information to the end users. So are you potentially experiencing an outage? Do you have any service degradation? What are you continuing to do to support the COVID-19 pandemic? So have you updated your DR plans, your business continuity plans, and so on and so forth? And towards the bottom of the screen, we can promote the most viewed FAQs within the solution. So what are the actual knowledge articles that you have published to the end user portal, and which ones have been the most used on a regular basis, in order to draw the end user's attention to those articles that have been best served. Similarly, if we go to the top of the screen, on the left-hand side, we have our menu options, whereby we're able to select from a number of actions from the useful tips menu. So within here, we can go directly to FAQs. We can search the knowledge bank. So if, for example, again, we insert any keyword criteria and hit search, the system will then obviously promote any knowledge articles which satisfy that keyword criteria. So based upon the iPhone keyword, we have 2 knowledge articles, and as you can see on the right hand side, this one has 100% customer satisfaction rating and this one has 83%. So the system will use analytics to determine which is the most relevant knowledge article to satisfy the keyword and indeed any other search criteria as appropriate. Drilling into that, we can of course see the content of the knowledge article, which can combine both textual representations as well as images, videos. End users can also rate it and offer their feedback. So when we come to knowledge effectiveness reporting, which we'll see towards the end of the demonstration, you'll be able to gauge which knowledge articles have been utilized to deflect incidents being logged on the service desk in the first place. And we can also say whether we actually thought that the article was useful as well. So again, really key to engage with the end user for them to understand the relevant knowledge articles and provide that feedback directly to the service desk itself. We also have chatbot-esque scripts within the system as well. So as you can see here, I've got a self-diagnosis script. So as I'm sure many customers are probably experiencing at the moment with the vast majority of personnel working remotely, they may have issues with Teams, other remote telephony services, and so on and so forth. So why not actually manage scripts within the solution to drive the actual customer down the relevant channel to hopefully enable them to resolve the issue themselves prior to the incident being logged on the service desk. So here, if we give our answer to the question, we can go on to the next question. And as you can see, you can offer prompts to provide guidance throughout every step of the way. And obviously the end dynamic really is that before they get to the end of the script, they're easily able to resolve their issue without having to log it on the service desk. But obviously we don't live in an ideal world. So as you can see on the bottom of the screen, we have the log an incident button. So if they are unable to resolve it, they can log the incident and it will take the full script transcript, and it will then append that details directly to the incident record logged, so that when your actual technicians or analysts pick it up on the service desk, you can maximize your SLA response and resolution target times and minimize the back and forth interaction with the actual end user for questions that they've already performed throughout the script's diagnosis. Now, obviously, if they do exhaust all possibilities of self-sufficiency, they will get to the point whereby they do need to log an incident within the service there. So here we can log an issue or we can raise a request. So if we select our log an issue option, it then presents our incident form. So again, everything that you're seeing today is fully configurable within the front end GUI, right the way through from the screens to the workflows and so on and so forth, to really endorse the zero code approach to configuration within the tool. It is all search as you type as well. So if I start typing in any information with regards to the application or service that I may be experiencing my problem with, the system will then present any relevant service or application that satisfies that criteria. You'll also notice I've got AKA. So if, for example, some of your end users may call your email service Outlook, Exchange, Office 365, webmail, this exact same service will still come up, so that when again your service desk managers go through month-end reporting, it's as concise as it can be, so that you're not blurring the lines as to different types of services being called different types of terminology. And as soon as I select that, we now have our proactive suggested knowledge feature kick in, which will provide details on the knowledge articles that are published on a knowledge base as to what the system perceives will best assist them for the resolution of their particular issue. And as I continue to type into the actual form, this will then self-expand to again combine the information that's been inserted to float the most relevant knowledge article directly to the top of the suggested knowledge area. So here, the system perceives, based upon the application or service, the device, and the keyword content, that the exchange connection error knowledge article is the most relevant to fix their issue. They can, of course, select it, which in turn will give them the reproducible steps in order to resolve their issue and the solution of what they could expect. And similar to what we saw previously, we could also rate it. But the end dynamic really here is that they are able to self-resolve. And if they can, they simply select the button at the top right of the screen. And what the system will then do is it will seamlessly log the incident in question, but it will then dynamically close the incident record, but more importantly, link said knowledge article directly to it and add it as the resolution fix. So again, when you come to your knowledge effectiveness reporting, you can easily see exactly what knowledge content that's published to the end user portal has been the most relevant to deflect needless incidents being logged on the service desk. But in our example, we're just going to back out of that and simply submit that incident record. And what we'll do later on in the session is come back into how the analyst can then pick that up and leverage, again, AI techniques to assist with the resolution of the particular record. But before we do so, we're going to go into the raise a request function. So if we head into here, this essentially is your shopfront window to provide a variety of different service request processes and what are all the relevant options that you can provide from a service perspective. This is a unified approach to self-service. So here we can combine both IT related services as well as HR, as well as estates, and so on and so forth to, again, provide a one-stop shop of interactive approach so that you're not having multiple portals to direct the user to the same particular place. What we're going to do is leverage our search function at the top to search for a new account record. So within here, I've got my create new account, which I'm able to select. And once I do so, it brings up my form in which I can populate. So there's full data validation throughout the breadth of the system. So here you can see I've got mandatory fields denoted by the asterisks. So here I can insert the details, what the type of position that person is going to be within the organization. And this gives us a good foundation to provide information on dynamic capabilities. So if I select permanent employee, the screen doesn't change. But if I select contractor, the system then provides an end date because it assumes that they're going to finish employment at a specific point when they finish their contract within the business. Simply reverting it back to permanent will then make that field seamlessly disappear. I can then insert the details of the new employee. So let's use David as an example. He's going to work in sales. You can insert his relevant phone number, when he's going to start within the business, and a description. And once we're happy, we simply select submit, at which point the actual end user can then review the life cycle of the request fulfillment process for the create new account. And internally on the service desk, we now have a workflow which will be initiated in order to dynamically drive that new account creation. Now, at the point of logging, what the system will do is based upon the person logged in this example, Greg Middleton, it will actually look at the personnel within the person function of Alemba Service Manager to dynamically determine who the line manager is for this particular process itself. So if we log in as Greg's line manager, we'll see that here in the portal, we have a number of approvals. And within those, we can review those approvals for example, for change management, for contract stakeholder reviews, and our network manager approval at the top. And if we select it, we can review it, we can approve it, and we can insert our security credentials to make sure we are who we say we are, and we can then complete that. Now, at this point, that is the only manual element of interaction from a human perspective in order to fulfill that network account request. So if I go back to the Alemba Service Manager core system, which is your foundation for administration activities, but also for first line interaction as well, you'll see that I'm in a request search area here. And if I search it, you'll see that our create AD account is now within my queue. And if we open up this example, what we're able to see is all the core details behind the information that's been logged by the end user on the portal, but I can also see the workflow sitting behind that. So at which point the manager approved it, this is, as I mentioned, the only human element in terms of interaction. The remainder of the workflow is completely automated to both create the AD account within AD itself, deploy notifications to inform line managers of the default username and password created. Conversely, it will also create the person record with an Alemba service manager itself, so that when your integrations kick in with Active Directory, it can interface and update, remove details as appropriate. And as you can see here, we're at the live state of delaying the activation of that account until that applicable point of when that employee starts within the business. And again, all of this is fully drag and drop. So if, for example, we wanted to go into the workflow template designer, into employee management and network account, you'll see within here that we've got our dependency diagram, and I can drag and drop it all around. I can remove links, I can drag on new tasks for different types of elements and manage it again, all through zero code configuration within the front end GUI itself. And just to showcase exactly what's happened as a result of this Active Directory account request, we can go into our AD users and computers, and you'll see now that David Wright now exists within Active Directory itself. So a key element in terms of the automation from an end user perspective, but also from the managerial, the service desk, and externally launching out of the toolset itself. Now, the next element that we're going to go through is with regards to the incident that was logged earlier on the service desk at self-service portal. So here, if I go into my call queue, you'll see at the top we have the incident that was logged. If we drill into that, I can action it, and I've got all the details behind the person, whether they're a VIP, the service, the CI, the category, the keywords, and so on and so forth. But the most important thing here in terms of AI automation from a service desk perspective is on the right-hand side, we have similar to the end user portal matching knowledge, but more importantly here, this will promote both internal knowledge as well as knowledge articles that are published to the portal. But additionally, at the top, it will also trend data already within the system. So what matching data from an incident, a problem, a known error, major incident, and so on and so forth is already logged within the system that can potentially assist the analyst in terms of the resolution of the current incident that they're working upon. So based upon the content, we can see we have similar incidents already logged. We can toggle between different types of filters or attributes to limit the result set that appears, and we can also toggle between different date ranges. So based upon this, this may suggest to the analyst that there is indeed a problem on the infrastructure. So here I could, for example, clone this particular incident record directly to a problem. I could append the history to copy all the information over. And once that's done so, what I'm then able to do is once more utilize the matching panel here to easily link any child incidents directly to the problem record. So again, we're leveraging the matching panel to introduce automation to guide the analysts that are picking up the particular incidents, and again, ultimately serve to maximize the response and resolution targets within the system. Now, we've seen in terms of both how end users and analysts can leverage automation within the system, but what happens when none of those elements are actually apparent? So what we have is the ability to manage AI proactive analytics to understand exactly what's going on both internally within the solution and externally on your infrastructure. So prior to the session, I've got an event alert, which has been consumed. And if I drill into that event alert, I can see that this is based upon test switch 1, and it's based upon the consumption of an alert from the SolarWinds monitoring tool. Based upon that consumption, it's actually already placed an outage on the test switch 1, and I can launch directly out to that test switch 1 CI within the CMDB, and I can view the graphical CMDB diagram to understand exactly what the scenario is currently occurring, what linked entities, CIs, and services may also be affected based upon that outage, and ultimately be proactive to leverage the automated features that have occurred. So here for my test switch 1, based upon that outage, the hypervisor 1 has also been taken out, 2 test servers have also been taken out, and a number of services which were also supported upon that infrastructure. But we also have 2 separate standalone servers, so the warehouse system is still very much up and running in the context of ensuring that that service is still live. I could also be proactive in this area here. So if I wanted to select my CRM system. At the top right, I could simulate an outage. So if, for example, we can expand and view information related to that. We can view service-related information to really understand exactly what the impact on the infrastructure would be, both from a stakeholder perspective and an actual impact and outage perspective as well. So again, the system really offers those automated means for you to be proactive as opposed to reactive in action in the situation once the actual issue has occurred. Now we can go a step further there by leveraging our proactive AI ops rules to further automatically create and trend data based upon pattern recognition within the tool as well. So if I exit out of my event record, what you'll see here is I also have a problem record, which has been dynamically created as a result of an AI ops proactive analytics rule polling the actual system. So here we can see the linked event. We can see all the details behind the problem itself. So this has been created as a result of an AI ops proactive analytics rule taking place for a switch failure and the information that sits behind that. And this is all configured again within the front end GUI. So if I go to my AI ops rules, you'll see I've got a switch failure artificial intelligence rule. I can review it, whereby I can easily walk through a wizard-driven approach to give the rule a description. So this is a switch failure. I can go into the data set. So what do I want to trend the data upon? Is it new? Is it all open? What particular record entities? So in this scenario, an event. And based upon the demo, I'm just having it as a count of 1. What's the selection criteria? So very simply for this example, I've said, if the CI is of test switch 1, I want it to create a problem as a result of the event being consumed, as well as being able to create schedules, logging outputs, and a summarization of exactly what's going to occur. So again, you can manage all of these to determine pattern recognition across the entire breadth of the system of what information is being consumed through the system, whether it's an event, an incident, major incident, problem management, through to change management and release management, and so on and so forth. And ultimately, as I mentioned, combining the end user input, the end user automation, the analyst automation, and the artificial intelligence tools that we have at our disposal, you're then able to manage and view varying different types of dashboards so that, again, you can leverage analytics of operational performance to understand improvement opportunities across the service desk. So here we have a number of inbuilt dashboards from continual service improvement, daily and weekly KPIs, management. If, for example, we take the knowledge effectiveness dashboard, we can launch into that and review it. So as I mentioned earlier on, we can easily see which knowledge articles have the most hits, which ones have been used to deflect knowledge based upon the customer feedback within the solution. Similarly, we can provide complete holistic overviews. So if I wanted to understand the current month IT statistics, here I can see upward and downward trends on incidents logged last month to this month. Same for problems, service requests, where we are in applicable stages for changes, and so on and so forth. And finally, also, as I'm sure we've mentioned throughout the entire course of the day, social collaboration and chat channels is something that's come to the fore, especially during these times that we're living through. So the system has an inherent chat capability, but is also able to integrate with tool sets such as MS Teams, live chat, and so on and so forth. So here, as a service desk manager, I can really see what's going on across the chat channels, the number of sessions being picked up by analysts, customers, average duration, amount of time waiting, etc., etc. And all of this is really able to be put together through intuitive options. So if I go to my dashboard server here, I've got a security and operations management dashboard. So enterprise service management is obviously something, again, which the vast majority of our customers are looking to adopt. So if we take the context of universities, you could use it for your IT, for HR facilities, and in this example, for security and operations. So here, across the last 28 days, we can see information related to the types of security incidents logged by location and a trend analysis over the last 12 months of when those security incidents were logged. So we can see here that there's been an upward trend when the universities have come back on campus. And what I can also do is I can edit this dashboard graphically. So if I edit it, it will take me into my dashboard designer. And once it's done so, it gives me the graphical dashboard designer to be able to manipulate, based upon the graphical entities on the left. I could also select my widgets and assign data very easily through terminology, through what I want to appear. And I can also manage how I want that data to be manipulated. So here you'll see I've got 2 data sources. Now, we want to make this essentially extremely easy for our customers to be able to access the data within the tool. And you can access both base fields as well as custom attributes throughout the entire breadth of the system. So if I edit this connection, what we're doing is we're actually leveraging our API to call data very easily to understand what information we want to pull through. I can insert my password credentials to connect via the API. And what the system in turn will then do is we'll present a preview of the information that's available based upon that API call. And once I hit connect, it will then give me all of that data that I'm then able to save. And then back to the dashboard, I can once more select any of my graphical entities and widgets on the left-hand side here, select my cog and assign the data through drag and drop techniques based upon the information that's been pulled directly through the API call itself. So again, extremely easy for you to manage all types of automated human interaction through AI ops controls, and then easily extract that information to real-time dashboards and reporting mechanisms to ultimately own and control improvement opportunities across the entire business. So with that, I'm going to pause there. Of course, Lawrence and I will be around at the second panel discussion at the end of the day, but if anyone has any questions, please do feel free to let me know.
Thank you very much, James. Yeah, we've run over a little bit, but that's fine. As you said, we've got the opportunity to front some questions in the next panel debate. So thank you for that. We're going to close this session there, and then we're going to move on to the next one. So same situation, everybody. If you could just bear with us, we're going to take a couple of minutes just to change stuff around, refresh your browser, and we'll be right back. Thank you very much indeed, guys. Thank you.